At first glance, Nolan is someone who you can define really easily based on his autism.
Say good morning.
He's a kid that doesn't hang out as a friend the way you and I would.
Can you shake hands?
That's what makes him stand out at first. But then when you get to know Nolan for Nolan, you start to see a lot of beauty inside him. You start to see a kid who loves everybody, despite how they react to him. You start to see a kid who sticks up for his twin sister in his own ways.
Music has kind of always captured his interest.
It's his thing. He struggles in the church setting. He struggles sometimes with the volume. You'll see the cupping. But what you'll also see is his sign of joy, which a lot of times comes out in flapping. And that flapping happens when the church starts singing. It's like worship comes alive for him. That's the part he engages the most with during a church service when he is able to be in church.
With Nolan, it was hard.
Okay, you ready? Church time.
Being confined to a chair and standing and sitting, it doesn't always work well for him.
Doesn't process for him.
No.
Church. Can you say church?
With all the sounds going on, he processes everything 10 times more than the rest of us. And it gets overwhelming and he loses it and he melts down.
We met with our pastors and with Barb Newman and kind of said, look, here's where we struggle. What should we do? And I remember one key question Barb asked our pastors was, what do you know about Nolan? And their response was, he's your son? He has autism?
Not a whole lot.
There wasn't a whole lot. And that's not to discredit them in any way. But I think they as pastors were the first step. We have to educate them to who our child is before we can even go to the congregation and say, we need help.
That conversation was really the first time I had a clear sense of how deep a struggle this was for them, just being part of the church. There was just something that went on in my heart that said, this is not going to happen. We're going to do what we have to do to care for these people. And so that's what we did. We created a team of volunteers who, on a rotating system, could help Tim and Laura with Nolan on Sundays. And it was amazing to see the number of individuals and the kind of individuals that came forward and said, I'd love to do this.
The room he's in on Sunday has windows into the sanctuary. It's got sound piped in so he can hear what the songs sound like. Team Nolan members can turn the sound down when it's too loud, but he also is in a place where he can walk around. So he has that full understanding of what church worship looks like. That changed Nolan's world in church, I think.
Ask the families to help you. Ask them to help you understand. And then be prepared as a leadership group to think creatively.
We didn't have answers that day at the table. We're figuring out life with Nolan every day, but it opened up the door to talk about Nolan as a whole. He is probably one of the most judged people on a daily basis, and yet he's probably the one who loves the most unconditionally of everybody around him.